We got to stop all man from messing up the land. When what we understand, this is a lesson on the chance. Everybody, it's a future shock.
Welcome to 93 Tweed FM. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to 93 Tweed FM. Tonight, it's no spectacular Lowrider Oldies. We on some different kind of vibes tonight. I want to introduce y'all to the world of Afrofuturism, some of which you may have heard of, some of which we're going to enlighten you to. Uh, what can I say? That this is some could say a movement, some could say a philosophy, some could say the future, not necessarily a black thing because anybody could be involved, anybody can participate. It's like everybody that has cultural friends from different regions, whether you're brown, black, yellow, Indian, it doesn't matter. You also can learn from each other, not just the cuisine. So tonight we're privy to have Dr. LaWana Richmond. She's very educated, independent black woman, and she has a PhD. So ladies and gentlemen, let me bring her on. She's going to explain to you guys who she is, what she's about. Miss LaWana Richmond. Give her a round of applause, please. Thank you. Hey, LaWana, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm fine, man. I just want to thank you for showing up. I know you have a busy schedule. You're a busy person. I want to thank you because I do respect your time. And I am so grateful that you've come over here to enlighten us in the world of Afrofuturism. Can you briefly tell us what does that entail? Because I don't want to misconstrue it. I don't want to mislead the audience. From my research, it's a mixture of blending black culture with sci-fi, things of that nature. Can you expound on that for us?
Yeah, I mean, Afro, like to put it really simply, Afrofuturism is a way of looking at the future that learns from the past, incorporating a thing called Sankofa. It uses art, culture, and stories to imagine better worlds and inspire real action, like building stronger communities and creating freedom for Black people everywhere. And so everyone is welcome to engage and participate and learn. But we do want to emphasize the fact that we are looking for a better world that includes um, liberation for Black people.
Well, and that's commendable considering the time and climate that we're in right now. So many things that we could talk about. How we kind of need. We've been hollering unity for since the civil rights movement, and seem like we're kind of our worst enemy. So if this can uplift us or at least get a collective together, so we can learn and grow as a people, that's what I'm about. So anything that can enlighten us and have us stop looking like idiots on the internet. That's what I'm about. So how did you get involved in this?
So, I'm actually finishing up a book about it, but I started off being African centered, went through a phase of being Black nationalist, cultural nationalist, and to being Pan African. And then working in education, I saw a lot of students going through the same cycles I went through with protests and being mad and trying to change people's mind. And I looked and I realized Afrofuturism was a way to look forward and focus inward. So instead of like focusing on trying to change other people's mind or do PR or like convince people of our humanity, to actually look at pathways to I would say, for lack of a better way, the Booker T route, pull our own selves up.
Wow. And funny, I always speak about something like that too. It's like in regards to people that live in any inner city in America. If we took more pride in our housing situations, I've always said that the projects would be a beautiful place to live if everybody cared about it. It would be a gated community, and it would be a beautiful place to live. It's bad enough that the rent is what $13 or something, but it's like when once you get a blessing like that, which I think is a curse too, but we'll get into that. But
Yeah.
the blessing to be able to live affordable where it's not costing you an arm and a leg, you would think that a lot of people would appreciate it. Not just black people, because it's projects that have every ethnicity in America. So let's don't just misconstrue that as well. But you would think that we have more pride in where we live, and that needs to be addressed across the board as well too. If we don't care about us, ain't nobody else gonna care about us.
Well, I mean, the reality is we've been trained to hate ourselves from the day we, first started watching TV or going to school. So a big part of the things that I focus on is, we got to start with loving ourselves. Because when you love yourself, then the way that you treat the people around you, the way that you allow people to treat you, the way you treat your surroundings, and even like how you think about tomorrow is different.
Mm, wow. You would
And
think that you want to put yourself in a better light, especially in public. It's like, how they say this new term, black fatigue. It's kind of affected me. And I just sit back and like, why is this bothering me when I grew up in South Central Los Angeles? Everything bad that can possibly happen can happen there. And I never thought that I personally would be embarrassed around some black people and how they act. And I grew up in South Central. That right
um,
there, think, how the hell could I have this mentality? But I always knew 15 minutes away from where I was Beverly Hills. So it's like I've always had a vision. I just don't understand, but black people embarrass the hell out of me daily, especially the females nowadays. They're just out of control. It's scary out there. It is.
well, Dale Carnegie said if you give a dog a bad name, he'll live up to it.
Oh,
So,
that's
you
deep.
know, and so we are conditioned on a regular basis um to see ourselves as inferior.
Mm.
Um the reality is for us to go forward, first of all, we've got to believe in our ability to walk. And
I,
so, to give you example, when I was younger, I had friends. We were in a group where we would go to high schools and we would work with students and teach them about math and science from an African perspective, because they teach our kids that they're not good at math and science. And then in terms of the things that you may be embarrassed about from young women and maybe even older women, um there's layers to it. So part of it, some of the behaviors that we consider embarrassing are actually culturally relevant. For example, there are a lot of people who have a problem with young women twerking, but it's actually somatic movement that's good for releasing trauma. And if you look, I don't know if you saw the movie Sinners, where they had the scene where they had all the people dancing, and you had the young woman that was twerking, and then you had the traditional African dancer that was doing similar movements.
yes, I've seen that too. But to release trauma, if that was the case, why do it on top of a car in a gas station parking lot? Miss me. That to me, I'm not falling for that one, doctor. No disrespect, but I don't see how that a traumatic incident will have you on top of an automobile in a parking lot on
So,
the nights. To me,
I mean,
that's
that's
crazy.
well, that's part of why I say it's layered, because the other thing to remember is the hypersexualization of Black women.
Okay.
Um, once upon a time, Black women could be mammies, they could be mules like the cook or something, or they could be the bed wench, or they just didn't fit in anywhere. They were like very, they're the whole sapphire thing that's been around since the beginning of film and television. It goes a little deep if you think about like black sitcoms. How many of the shows that we grew up watching had either a young girl or a middle-aged woman whose whole role was to be there to like have a smart mouth.
Okay, like D from WhatsApp.
Right. Right.
Okay.
I
Well,
mean, so, everything, so much of like um what we judge people for is stuff that they have been taught. They've been taught this is who you are or who you're expected to be. Quite often, if you go into like a corporate environment, everybody can be behaving and conducting themselves in a professional way, but they'll have like that one black woman who maybe, doesn't dress the same, and who, kind of pops off periodically. And for the people around her, she's entertainment.
uh,
So, I mean, I do my best to like not judge, instead focus on educating, because, any of us, depending upon circumstances in terms of who raised us, who was available, you look at like financial situations where people, whether they have one or two parents, or if they have their grandparents in the house, there was a lot of people that had to work in order to keep things going. And then when you look at so I don't know what your research found, but when I was young, I had my first child when I was 16. And I lived in, I guess what would basically be considered the projects here in San Diego. And when I decided to go back to school, there was a lot of when I decided to go to school, I decided to work. A lot of the people around me criticized me for doing that and told me how stupid I was when I could just sit at home and get a check.
wow, that's crazy. And that's what killed us off today, because
Right.
um, somebody had told me maybe 3 days ago, and they said, "Well, why are black women? Because primarily those are the ones who receive the SNAP program, food stamps. Not too many black men is crying about not getting their food stamp. But for the first time in 60 years, they snatched them off the table, and now it's chaos and people going crazy, wondering what they're gonna do. And it's like, wow, you've had all these years to figure it out, and yet you're able to get the food stamps, and you're not doing nothing to really earn them. Because if you go to any projects, well, not even a project, go to any inner city or it's apartment buildings, and you see Mercedes Benzes in the parking stalls, but yet they're on low income housing. To me, that's crazy.
So now, I'll tell you a little bit about being within that system, because, not only did I live in the projects, I received public assistance while I was going to school and working, because I wasn't able to make enough money to pay for everything to support my kids. And consistently, every time I met with anyone from the welfare system, they would tell me how much easier it would be for them to manage my case if I didn't work and I didn't go to school.
Well, if they call it assistance, I believe it should be there to really help. But
I
what,
agree, but it's not designed that way.
yeah, but what bothers me is how can a person be so complacent to where they'll be on it for years and years, but yet they're using the food stamps to buy crab legs and lobster tails and things of that nature. And it's like,
So there's a few things for you to consider. One, generational poverty. There's a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it basically goes into people learn what they live. And then the other part, in terms of, there's a few myths that we need to like crush. First of all, when you talk about the people who have been stressed out about not getting their food stamps, um, more than 75% of the people who receive food stamps are white people.
I've heard of that too in other rural cities like North Dakota and Iowa, places where it's no black people at all. I do understand that.
No, I'm
But
talking about nationally. If we
yes,
look at all the people, the whole like idea of this welfare queen, this black woman living high on the hog and abusing the system. I'm not saying that there aren't exceptions, but that's not the norm. And but like, I really didn't want to like talk about the welfare system because I have some really strong opinions about it because I experienced it and I saw all the obstacles that were put in place to make it more challenging for me to get out of that system. And I understand the battle that I fought to overcome those obstacles. And so I don't take for granted that it would be easy for anybody to do that.
But
It,
why misuse it though? That's what I don't understand. If it's there to assist you, stumbling, if you stumble, it's there to pick you back up. But to just utilize it and raise multiple kids that you can't afford, because it primarily is geared for women. Men really don't get all of these benefits, Section 8, and all of that stuff. And it's like, once the man got out of the situation, it seemed like the women just accepted being broke because you can't make it over a certain level amount of money, or they're going to take away everything that you got. But it's
so,
setting yourself up. Why would they
so
just stay on it for 1,000 years? I just don't get that.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that you've been fortunate enough to not have to understand that, but I will tell you that there are men who are custodial parents who do receive public assistance, who do get food stamps, and do live in projects. And so
One
it's,
for
you know, so
one.
it's, I don't think it's gender so much as it is circumstance. The
I
other
think
part is when you look at jobs that you can get without an education, the ones that are available to women, the ones that are traditionally considered jobs that women can do, where that women are more likely to get hired, they tend to pay less money. So, there are a few things that go with that because these women with these children, they're not creating these children on their own. It's not immaculate conception.
but it's your choice. Remember, my body, my choice. So if you choose
So
to have children that you can't afford, whose fault is that?
so I think that it's easy to have that perspective as a man. And the other thing to consider is we've got to look at what people know. If they don't know better, they're not going to do better. And so I would like to move the conversation away from all the problems of the past that have been around for, at this point, decades, and move towards, okay, what can we do better? Because really, when you talk about Afrofuturism, it's less about looking around and victim blaming or victim shaming or judging people because we don't know people's circumstances. We don't know what their experience is. We don't know what their childhood was like. We don't know why they're a single mother in the cases when they are. We don't know any of these things. But what I do know is that many of the problems that we have in our community, we also have the resources within our community to solve them. And when you talk about these women that aren't doing better, um, the question is, what are we doing to help them? For me, like, I know what my journey was, and I'll say that I had the good fortune of getting exposed to people who taught me things and helped me figure out how to do better and be better. But I'm not going to assume everyone has that same opportunity or that same access.
I kind of always thought that uh, if they wanted help, they would seek it out. If it's an old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. I always thought that that was bullshit because I've always looked at it. You can lead a horse to water, and if he's thirsty, he'll drink. So if you want the knowledge, I believe that it's always there for you. But if your priorities aren't in line, you'll continue to make the same mistakes. I'm hoping that we can find one thing, if it's Afrofuturism, one thing that we can cling on collectively and bounce that ball forward because I want to be able to have respect for our people and I don't want
Well,
Inspire
You,
people.
respect is something that, they say it's something that's earned, but I think that you've got to look, culturally. There are many places in the world where respect is the standard. I just spent, almost 2 weeks in Senegal
Okay.
and encountered nothing but respect. The one time that I had a conflict with someone, it was because I was taking a taxi and I didn't have change. And I told him to just keep it. And he felt like it was too much money. And I
Wow.
didn't have time to figure out change because I needed to be where I was going. And he was really upset with me.
Wow. That's man. I wish that we could adopt that philosophy here
We
because,
can.
but
the,
but but
the
some
no,
people.
because we think about what we can't do, but if we really want to, we can. So many of the things that we need to do for ourselves are about our mindset and also about how we treat each other. In some communities, when somebody messes up, instead of like ostracizing them and throwing them out and kicking them to the curb or canceling them, they actually get surrounded by people who love them and remind them about the good things that they bring, and highlight those things and encourage those things. Because I'll go back to, if you give a dog a bad name, he'll live up to it. How many of our kids are in school right now where the teacher only notices them when something bad happens and assumes that our kid is doing that? Imagine that is your life experience when it comes to education and knowledge.
I agree, and I
And
agree that a teacher in the inner city school can't raise your children for you either. I believe
that's
that
correct.
be doing your own work with your children, and so they are prepared to go to that school. They're already ahead. When I was in school back in the 1800s, we had what was called,
Back in the 1800s.
yeah, we had what was called hooked on phonics, and that little principle right there taught us all how to read, how to spell it out, and man, I learned how to speed read in the 5th grade. Feel me? I knew about what DNA stood for, and man, we learned about that in the 10th grade. Deoxyribonucleic acid. You could ask anybody right now, what does DNA mean? They can't tell you. I learned that years ago. You got to apply stuff. All I know is that if we look at what our grandmothers went through and how Coretta Scott King was respected and revered, and all of the female pioneers that really was respectable, how can we go from that to now to pink hair and all that septum earrings? And it's like,
It's by design.
I wish that they had one woman that all women would respect. If
There
it
are
was
many women that all women respect. How many people respect Michelle Obama? How many people respected Maya Angelou when she was still alive?
yes,
How
I
many?
love
I
to.
mean, let's look at like Felicia Rashad. Let's look at Debbie Allen. We can, I'm not here to like try to, name all the black women in the world who are doing great things, but the reality is that's not what the media shows us. When I say it's by design, it is by design. The information, the music, the news, the history, all of the things that support the narrative that they want us to believe about ourselves, that's what we get taught. That's what we get fed.
That's a damn shame. Man,
It is. But we get to choose. You know what they call, there's a reason they call it television programming.
uh, you're right. Now that you think about it, you're right. And they have program directors that are programming our minds.
Me and my friends, we call it tell lie vision.
I can dig that. Well, tonight we ain't gonna tell no lies. Our sponsors are Fun Diggity Funnel Cakes, fundiggity.com. Go ahead and get you this funnel cake mix right here. You can make it at home, or you can pull up on us at 2807 North Dalhart Avenue, located in the city of Compton, 90222. Or call Grubhub, Uber Eats, or DoorDash and have it delivered right to your front door. Also, magnificentwax.com. They're available at select Walmarts, or go to tweedcadillac.com and get you a pair of Stacey Adams. We have footwear, hatwear, underwear, all kind of apparel, socks, belts, name it. 25% discount. If you mention Dr. LaWana Richmond tonight, I'll look out for you. With that being said, let's take a break because, man, we're getting kind of deep. And Dr. Richmond, I be talking, man. I
I ain't
was,
mad at you. You ain't saying nothing that like people aren't saying, and we have to deal with these things.
wow. G-Lew, thank you, sir. Man, I feel like loving you today, man. Donald Bird, y'all. 93 Tweed FM. Make sure to tell a hater to tell a player that this is what we do on Thursday nights. Enlightening, informative information with Dr. LaWana, capital W, Richmond.
Kiss
An exhibit on display in Washington is spreading the word about an intriguing marriage of science fiction and black history. Nancy Giles gives us an inside look at Afrofuturism.
What is Afrofuturism?
The future of African Americans and their impact on society.
Afrofuturism is a vision for humanity.
I don't know what it would mean.
To answer that question, there's an exhibit at the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington, D.C. Museum Director Kevin Young.
New worlds that you could imagine yourself in and imagine yourself different and better. And I think that's something African Americans have done for a long time. They've taken pain and turned it into possibility. And I think Afrofuturism is an extension of that.
From Harriet Tubman's leading enslaved people to freedom to the female mathematicians of NASA, the possibilities of Afrofuturism are woven throughout history.
I don't believe it.
Explain.
You explain.
Have Lieutenant Uhura's uniform. Nichelle Nichols wore this in Star Trek.
Lieutenant Uhura inspired real-life astronauts, including Charles Bolden, who went on to become the first black NASA administrator. Also on display, the flight suit of young Trayvon Martin, who was part of an Experience Aviation science program and dreamed of flying high. Martin was gunned down at age 17 in an infamous Stand Your Ground case in Florida.
And to have it here, I think, is a reminder of his dreams and sort of all of our dreams cut too short.
Yeah. From music and movies to comic books, literature, and more,
Here we are.
black artists take a more expansive view of a world where racism and oppression aren't the defining factors, traveling through time and space. Octavia Butler's visionary science fiction earned her a MacArthur Genius Fellowship.
I love what she says here. You got to make your own worlds. You got to write yourself in.
She is so right.
She sure did.
It's the first introduction of the...
Curator Kevin Strait was inspired by this Oscar-winning costume.
We have right here an authentic black hero.
It's the late Chadwick Boseman's costume from the 2018 blockbuster Black Panther. Boseman played the king of the futuristic country Wakanda.
I think people really connected to the notion of having a black hero, a black cast, in a black setting. In many ways, sort of envisioned a new future.
Right. An empowering future.
Afrofuturism is dealing with the past. It's kind of reconciling the past. The first Afrofuturist was the first slave to decide that, you know what, this slavery thing's not for me. I'm going to get out of here.
John Jennings is a professor of cultural studies at the University of California, Riverside. We caught up with him at an Afrofuturistic period room at New York's Metropolitan Museum of Art. Jennings says Afrofuturists include icons like Tina Turner, President Barack Obama, and leaders of the civil rights movement.
I always look at Dr. King as Afrofuturist.
I have a dream today.
Afrofuturism is looking backwards to move forwards. I think it's a disservice to the past to forget it, you know?
Yes.
We have to actually understand where we've come from. For instance, don't think about the negative aspects of the past. Think about how much we've survived, right? Think about the positive aspects and move forward in a positive manner.
Afrofuturism encouraged enslaved Africans to follow the North Star to freedom. And in the 21st century, Afrofuturists continue to move the culture forward to a different way of thinking, to our own limitless Wakandas.
I think so much about bringing my son and his friends to see that movie and how much they took it for granted in a way that there could be this black hero. And that sense of heroism is part of, I think, Afrofuturism's power.
Listen, we ain't got time to be tired. We got a long, long way to go. That's right. A long, long, long way to go. We ain't got time to be tired, 'cause the tired move too slow. They move too slow. We ain't got time to be tired. There's a fight that must be won. It must be won. You know something? You ain't got time to be tired, 'cause the war has just begun. That's right, the war has just begun. Now listen, I see the war. The war has just begun. You say, what war? The war for freedom. For freedom and equality. That's right. I say the war has just begun. What war? The war for freedom. That's right. Freedom. Oh, yes, the war, the war, the war. The war for freedom. You know, we ain't got time to be tired. We got a long, long way to go. We ain't got time to be tired, 'cause the tired move too slow. Yes, the war for freedom and equality. The war has just begun. Listen to me. We ain't got time to be tired. Got a long, long way to go. We ain't got time to be tired. There's a fight that must be won.
That is absolutely right. We don't have time to be tired because we got to keep on moving down the line. We got to make sure that we do the right thing each and every day. And it ain't easy being cheesy, as they say. Dr. Richmond, are you with me? Dr. Richmond.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can I get an amen for the choir? If you can hear Dr. Richmond, put a 1 in the chat. If you have a question for Dr. Richmond, throw it in the chat. She'll answer for the low price of $13.95. Dr. Richmond,
Yes, sir.
I need for you to lay some on moving forward with this Afrofuturism. What can be on the right, and what's scheduled to be next to really make a difference?
So, I have colleagues that I work with all over the world, and we're all doing our thing. And the idea, because, what did it say? Free your mind and your ass will follow. That's real.
Yes, it is. George Clinton.
Yeah. Another famous Afrofuturist. One time we had him in a Zoom, and he was talking about samples, right? And a lot of people had issues with sampling, right? And what he did instead is he created tracks and put liner notes and said, "Hey, if you want to sample my music, here's how you get in touch with me. This is what you got to do." And he said for him, he sees it as making his music in the source code. And so it lives on because it sees the future. And I think, a lot of times, we're so busy looking back and seeing the past as an obstacle. John Jennings, one of the people that was quoted in the segment you just aired, he, I was with him at the event that I was headed to when we talked on the phone for the first time. And he, when he said, we've got to look at the things that we've overcome and look at our victories because, we are winners. That's a whole song, right? A lot of the old soul music was really, very Afrofuturist in its leanings.
You're right. You're right. From
Yeah,
Mark from the Isley Brothers, Roy Ayers that I just played.
the Ohio Players,
Yes, exactly. Because
James Brown.
I still know what heaven is, and I know heaven is like this. If we all
Yeah,
do it collectively,
yeah.
I'm scared.
And we could do this. We could create heaven on earth if we decided to. I mean, a big part of it is, focus. A lot of it is, how do we talk to each other? Do we lift each other up when we're struggling or do we put each other down? Like a lot of these sisters that you see and like maybe you don't like their behavior, but sometimes, getting up dancing in the car, that's the only moment of joy that they have.
Well, that's sad. That is so
It
sad
is.
for so many various of reasons. That is sad.
Yeah, it is sad.
I just don't like them just going in Walmart stealing and all that dumb stuff. It's like, wow.
Right, but the thing is, if that's how what give attention to the girls who are getting scholarships and who are staying out of trouble, who are volunteering at the hospital or doing whatever. There are a lot of young women right now doing beautiful things, and everybody's so busy talking about the things that they don't want to see that those young women are being completely ignored.
Wow. Hold on one second. I hear you, but I just hope that they're not being ignored. They're just being overlooked because everybody, man, can have a voice. You just got to make sure you talk loud enough so that people can hear you. That's what I think.
I
You
mean,
got
I think sometimes we got to remember to love on them.
that's kind of deep. I never thought of that.
Sometimes the thing that the person that's acting up and acting out, what they need is they just need somebody to love them and show them how to love themselves.
Is that it? All it is?
Sometimes. I mean, at the root of everything, if you love yourself, there's certain things you won't even put yourself in the position to do or consider.
Wow. I guess you're right about that. You really do have to love yourself because if you don't love yourself, ain't nobody else gonna do it. That's for real.
Right. And sometimes the way you teach someone how to love themselves is by loving them and showing them how to receive love. Because you got to think, have you ever tried to pour water on some dry soil that been caked up and hardened?
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
some people never learned how to receive love and how to, definitely not how to give it. Because how do you give something you don't have?
You got a point there. You got a point there. I never even looked at it like that. You got a point there. 'Cause I've
I mean,
always been a giver. I've always tried to give it. Then when I see that you don't respect it or don't acknowledge it, I'll pull points. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna be like a Jehovah's Witness, man, out the front door. If you don't want the message, you don't have to accept it. But I never looked at it
I
like
think
I.
what you're doing, like your show. Oh no.
Hello? What happened? What happened? Hello? What happened? Hello?
Yeah, she checked out. She checked out, Tweed. I don't know what happened. Sounds like she had an emergency, so we'll stand by.
All right. Go to the Afro Future excerpt part 2. Play that. Perfect time for it. It's like a skit. Afrofuturism Part 2. You got it?
When people envision the future in art, most often it's seen through a white lens. Only 8% of the 100 top-grossing sci-fi and fantasy films featured a protagonist of color. Half the time, the protagonist was Will Smith. But we're not all white or Will Smith. The future looks different if you look at it through the lens of Black experiences. That's why we have this thing called Afrofuturism. The term was coined by culture critic Mark Derry in 1994 to point out the lack of Black writers and Black stories in science fiction. But this kind of art existed long before the term Afrofuturism did. Just look at music. Jazz musician Sun Ra is probably one of the most recognizable Afrofuturists. He lays out an Afrofuturistic design in his 1973 album Space is the Place, which you're listening to now, and also became a film. The key is that his future was Afrocentric, linking his future self to ancient forebears in Egypt. These ideas were more politically direct and a lot more funky in George Clinton's parliament during 1975.
We have returned.
In Mothership Connection, he connects the struggle of civil rights and we shall overcome to a positive future.
You have overcome, for I am here.
He not only references an old song from the Underground Railroad to escape slavery, but he splits the desperate history into a positive, futuristic ride on his spaceship as evidence the struggle is over and we've won. So of course everybody wants to get on. And people did get on.
Hell yeah.
Or at least some 90s hip-hop heavyweights did. But Afrofuturism also critiques the way the future looks today, like Andre 3000 did on his AT Aliens verse.
If not, I wait because the future of the world depends on if or if not the child race gon' have that syndrome. I will know to beat the odds regardless of its skin tone.
He wants his unborn kid to get the future they want, not the one society created for them because of race. And that's why he takes pride in the difference.
Get gone, the alienators, cause we different. Keep your hand to the sky, like sounds of blackness when I practice what I preach and don't lie.
And empowers Black people to fight to get what's ours.
I'll be the baker and the maker of the piece of my pie.
Because that's the thing about Afrofuturism. It's rooted in Black people having a better future for ourselves on our terms, like Janelle Monáe does in Queen. This is the common thread of Afrofuturism. To overcome the current way society remains unequal, there needs to be futures where those problems are solved. Afrofuturism shows us what that looks like. It looks like hope.
Electric ladies, will you sleep? Or will you preach?
And that right there is just in a nutshell of where it's going, where we're hoping to head it with the movement. I believe it is a movement. I believe it could be a way of life as well.
It is for a lot of us.
That's a beautiful thing, because the good thing about it is sometimes it's like if you have something that you can really take pride in and feel good about, you will follow it and you will tell someone. And now before you know it, you can look behind you and you have an army of people behind you that can really uplift us and help us.
So we actually have people all over the world. You know, when I was in Senegal, we were people from Scotland, from Germany, from Canada, from Colombia, from Ivory Coast, from Ghana, of course, from Senegal, and all over the U.S., from California, from Philadelphia, from Atlanta, from Tennessee, from New York, from Denver. We all work independently, but we get together to kind of share our different projects and what the results and outcomes are in ways that we can support each other.
That's a beautiful thing. So if you guys have any questions for Dr. LaWana Richmond, just type them into the chat. I'm pretty sure she'll answer them for you. Also, Dr. Richmond, how can the people reach out to you if they want to get a little bit more of insight into this situation that we have with this Afrofuturism?
So there are a few ways. One, I have a nonprofit organization called Grioneers, which is a combination of the griot, which is the African storyteller, and engineering. And we focus on engineering the future through storytelling and experiential learning. I host a Black Comic-Con in San Diego during San Diego Comic-Con. And then I also host an Afrofuturism Consciousness Convention. I travel to speak at different events, conferences, institutions, and sometimes corporations. On Instagram, probably the easiest way to find me is Dr. LaWana, DRLAWANA. On Facebook, it gets a little bit more complicated. The event I do in San Diego is called the Afrofuturism Lounge. And so if you go to afrofuturismlounge.com, you'll find some of my content. And I'm, in addition to being on Instagram, Facebook, I'm on Spills, which is like the Black Twitter, where Black Twitter went when it became Elon Musk territory. And, there's always good old-fashioned email, lawana.richmond@gmail.com.
Well, that's beautiful. So I'm going to give you the floor. Tell me something about Afrofuturism that we should know right now that we could apply to our life first thing when we get up in the morning.
The first thing when you get up in the morning is, everything starts with a plan or a goal. So part of it is give yourself permission to imagine, things that could be better, things that you want to see better. And think about like one thing you can do, because, it's not, when you talk about change, it's not usually like a great big one thing that causes change. It's usually a series of very small actions that lead to change. And, for people who are content with things the way they are, I'm not really sure what to tell them. But Afrofuturism is absolutely about creating a better future. A lot of times people think about making their ancestors proud. The way I live my life, I want my descendants to be proud of me. I want my great, 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 great grandchildren to be glad I did something that I did.
Me too. Wow. Great minds think alike. I don't have a PhD, but wow, me too. That's beautiful, man. That is beautiful, man. It's all about a harvest for the world. So, G-Lew, I don't know how to even salute this one, man. But if I can get a round of applause, let's play the Isley Brothers, Harvest for the World, because it's all about us, man. We all we got, and we ain't gonna have no more. So we better utilize each other. We better respect each other. We better make it better for each other, because we all we got. How many years have we been saying that, Dr. Richmond? And we still can't figure that out. It's a damn shame.
Well, you know what? We have to be aspirational and think forward. It's not that we can't, it's that we haven't.
You're right. You're absolutely right, man. Harvest for the world, because we definitely need it. Stay tuned, 93.3 Tweed FM.
All right. Well, thank you for having me.
Half of us are satisfied, half of us in need.
After 6 Cruise Mix, hosted by Tweed Cadillac. I'm Kevin Slow Jam James. Thanks for joining me and Tweed.
Silhouettes of a perfect frame. Why can't we live together? Tell me why, why can't we live together? Everybody wants to live together. Why can't we live together? No more wars, no more wars, no more wars. Just a little peace in this world. No more wars, no more wars. All we want is some peace in this world. Everybody wants to live together. Why can't we live together? Still my brother. I said no matter what color, you are still my brother. Everybody wants to live together. Why can't we live together?
spectacular lowrider oldies, R&B, and everything in between. Tonight we on some Afrofuturism. I wondered, the doctor, are you still available? Or did she tap out?
She tapped out, homie.
She tapped out. That being said, man, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Hopefully tonight was very enlightening. Hope you got something out of it as well. Tomorrow, hope your days are brighter, your evenings are flyer, and your life moves in a better direction than it did today. I want to thank my executive producers, DD Hairston, my graphic art department, DD Hairston, Wild One Studios. I want to thank everybody that's sending me love tonight in the chats. I love y'all back. Also, I want to say something really important I want to say. Lost my train of thought. Tonight, man, I thought this show might be over some people's heads. I put on a tie because I was really serious about this. I needed to call Dr. Richmond to see if she had a great time as well. But thank y'all for tuning in. Next Thursday, me and Slick Rick gonna come back with a hell of a playlist that we had for you last week, but I was sick, man. I'm still going through it. I gotta go get an RSV shot tomorrow. Gotta go to a chiropractor in the morning. I'm just all over the place, man. Trying to get my health back and be back 100% so I can wear a tie every day. My lat got cracked. I'm doing bad, man. So if y'all wanna send me a dollar in my PayPal and my Cash App, anything help. Not the point Tweed FM. G-Lew, man, I want to thank you. LL Cool G, the greatest DJ on the planet. Tomorrow night, y'all know what's going down. Hit me with some of that Marvin, and we're going to call it a early night. It's been swell, but we got a bill. 90.2 Tweed FM. Yuri's in the building. What up? Keisha, man, all y'all, man, y'all great, man. Thanks for having my back, my front, and my side. 90.2 Tweed FM. Mercy me.
On the oceans and upon our seas, fish full of mercury. Oh, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be now. Where did all the blue skies go? Poison is the wind that blows from the north and south and east. Oh, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be now. Oil wasted on the oceans and upon our seas, fish full of mercury. Oh, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be now. Radiation underground in the sky. Animals and birds who live nearby are alive. Oh, mercy, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be now. Where did all the blue skies go? Poison is the wind that blows from the north and south and east. Oh, mercy, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be now. Oil wasted on the oceans and upon our seas, fish full of mercury. Oh, mercy, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be. No, no. Radiation underground and in the sky. Animals and birds who live nearby are alive. Oh, mercy, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be. What about this overcrowded land? How much more abuse from man? Can't you stand? The sky.